let's just settle again. Comfortable seated posture. There's some very crazy things I've noticed in the news cycle. And who? Okay, Graham. All right, Jerry. Um, 'Cause there's just so much going on. It's almost got to the point where we can't just sit there and list everything that happens. It used to be just like one or two things happening in the news, and now it's like 5 million things happening in the news. So my suggestion is if something's touched you or that you feel strongly about, and you would just like to sort of send prayers out to those people, I would suggest you do that. It just seems like every day there's something going on that's a little bit out of the norm. So anyway, settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Have your feet about a hip's width apart, and just feel the sensation of the weight of your feet in the floor. And the backs of your legs in the chair and your sits bones. Just feel the weight of your pelvis settling into the chair, and align your shoulders with your hips and your ears with your shoulders. And imagine your spine is a beautiful string of pearls of light that stretch from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Just lengthen your spine. And now relax your scalp and the forehead and your eyes and nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, the back of the tongue, the jaw, the back of the head. And allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And just be aware of the sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. So you can start with um, thinking about the breath coming in and out of the nostrils. So perhaps you feel some sensation around the edge of the nostril, maybe the base of the nose. And then as you exhale, it's a little warmer. And then just notice the chest cavity as you inhale. The chest cavity expands. And then as you exhale, everything kind of comes back into contracts back. So just notice the sensations of the breathing around the area, the ribs expanding, the lungs expanding. Maybe you notice the sensations around the belly. And then just be aware of any sound in your environment, just allowing those sounds to be there, trying not to follow them with the mind. And then be aware of what is in your mind at this point of your day. And just allow the thoughts to all arise and abide, and then maybe dissipate. So whatever's going on, whatever stories are there, just allow them to be there, trying not to follow and create more drama in your mind. And then just be objective about what's there. You know, be like a scientist. Just observe the thoughts. And then just be aware of all the people of your life, your loved ones, your strangers, the ones you don't like. Remember they're all equal and that they don't want to suffer. They want to be happy. And they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we think we'll do this practice this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all the sentient beings. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, in all of our past lives. And so think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and then think I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So, and a little section on developing compassion here. It's in this section of reliance. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result a suffering for them sometime in the future. So we think we're going to do this practice for the sake of all these beings and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedy, and this is the actual medicine, where we do the practice and we recite mantra and we visualize. So we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Mebowa Sitokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Membiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida mebowa, situkaya mebowa, sipokaya mebowa, anarakta mebowa, sawasidi membiyata sawa kamasita me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe, Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita, jida mebowa, situkaya mebowa, sipokaya mebowa, Anurakta mebowa sawasidi membiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida mebowa situkaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa Anurakta mebowa sawasidi membiyata sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Mebowa Situkaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anurakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Mebowa Situkaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anurakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Mebowa Situkaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anurakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Mebowa Situkaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anurakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that any harm you've done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is a purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Mebowa Situkaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sutta me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So, just imagine it's the same, it happens as instantaneously as a light being switched on in a dark room. So the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachment and neediness and anger and bitterness and grudges and depression and resentment, jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as you recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta me boa sabosidi me piyata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Dina me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa. Anorekta me boa sabasidi me piyata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva ahum pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So this time imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar and it fills you completely. And so imagine the nectar flowing down, pushing out all the negativity of the body, the nectar flowing up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech, and then the light coming and blasting all of the delusion. So this is happening all at the same time. And in this and at the same time you're visualizing all of this and you're reciting the mantra. And it eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mebi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mempiyata sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita. Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa. Anurakta meboa sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anurakta meboa sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anurakta meboa sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anurakta meboa sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and the final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. This is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. So without this, we're just going to keep following the same old habit patterns over and over again. So this determination to refrain from harming becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So maybe think of something that you know you have a habit to do that might not be the best thing for you. And just see if you can refrain from doing that thing. Just between now and tomorrow. And keep it simple. Don't try and do the hardest thing. Don't do your biggest addiction, for example. And then think Vajrasattva is delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And you think my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level your mind understands emptiness, place it there for a little while. And you can think that all phenomena is empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also kind of think to yourself, perhaps everything I'm seeing is not necessarily the way I think it exists. Maybe it exists differently to the way I'm perceiving it. And let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. Okay, so let's just do the chanting the names of Manjushri for the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Stood tall atop the surface of the earth, the soul of just 1 foot pervading all, stood tall atop the summit of the world, the nail of his big toe suppressing all. Whose aim is one, whose aim is non-dual Dharma, whose aim is ultimate beyond destruction, whose mind consists in groups of consciousness with varied objects, forms, and cognizance, amused with every object of existence, a mind of passion, loving emptiness, transcending worldly passion and the like, with great enjoyment for the threefold world, with fair complexion, white like pristine clouds, with radiance like beams from autumn moons, with lustre of rivaling the morning suns, with nails emitting light of crimson red, whose handsome crown has sterling sapphires. Oh, it's too many. Okay, stop. I would have been fine anyway. Lots of love, everybody. Let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, and for the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for all of your own individual teachers to have long, happy, healthy lives. Okay, everybody, lots of love. I will see you tomorrow morning, some of you. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming. I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Okay, bye. Bye-bye.